Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of Vods. It is a nice, chill Sunday afternoon here where I'm at. Todd, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I don't think chill is how I would describe the Alabama July we are experiencing right now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a balmy 98 degrees. The heat index is 106.
That does sound absolutely miserable. I
It's
don't
pretty
I don't think
terrible.
it's much better where I'm at. I am a little further north than you. I think it's mostly like in the high 80s, low 90s, but like I've been inside all day and I have absolutely no intention of stepping outside. So.
Yeah, I mean it's a good excuse to play games all day.
Isn't
So,
it though? Speaking of games, Todd, what have you been playing?
I deep dived into Claire Obscure.
Yeah? What do you think?
So it is the game that I like the most that I hate to play.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do not like the combat. I don't I just don't like the turn-based that's reliant on the parry and block and dodge mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a skill issue, I'm just not good at it, but I don't enjoy it. I don't think it's fun. Um I think the menus are oddly kind of weird and remind me
Yeah.
of Persona.
Yeah, it's
And they
definitely very Persona inspired.
they seem really out of place against the backdrop of, this surreal, almost noir kind of really sad and depressing story.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they kind of take me out of it. But when you talk about the other facets of the game, the ambiance, the set design for each level, how beautiful everything
Yeah.
is, the music, how well crafted the story is. It, it's
How
it's really special.
how far are you in the game without, I guess, as few spoilers as possible?
Um So I'm not playing as the first protagonist
Gotcha.
anymore.
Okay. So you've made it a pretty decent bit
Yeah,
in.
yeah. So I, like I said, I love the story. I don't enjoy playing it, but I'm gonna power through it because I want to see how it ends.
Mm-hmm.
It's This is the closest I've felt to BioShock.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. From a world building and story setting, it has sucked me in.
Okay.
I think the fiction and the lore is so interesting and
Yeah.
what they've crafted that this nothing has made me feel this way since the original BioShock.
Okay.
Maybe that's wildly high praise, to only be halfway through a game, but
So what about BioShock made you feel that way? Was it like exploring the world, like you never know what's coming next? Like what is going on there?
yeah, it's the ambiance really. I mean, I hate to distill it just to the vibe, but
Yeah.
that's really, that's what BioShock is. Like
Yeah.
everywhere you go is weird and unsettling
Yeah.
and unnatural in the best kind of way.
Yeah.
You're in a world that is familiar yet also so foreign to the normal world.
Hmm.
And I think that's one of the things that Claire Obscure really nails is like this world feels like it could be ours, but there are just elements of it that are so out there and wild and fantastical.
Okay.
It's woven in really well, I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I think it's when you find out more what's happening, it becomes way more apparent without giving you any any spoilers or anything. Everything about that game to me was just incredibly well done. The voice acting top tier,
Mhm.
the story even better. Like it's just, I mean, we've had this discussion a few times on this show before, but like it's so good, and I love that kind of combat. Like I'm literally playing another Souls like right now, so like I totally get, I totally understand. why someone that doesn't play those games wouldn't like it. Have you noticed there's a sound cue that tells you when to block and
Yeah.
dodge? Okay.
Yeah, it took me way too long, an embarrassing amount of time to figure it out,
Most
but
people
yeah.
still don't know. Like I think there are people that have gone through that entire game that don't realize.
And I want to preface what I said. Like, I don't think the combat is bad. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, and I think there's a real distinction there, you know?
Well, it's entirely possible for you to love a thing and understand that it's good, but also that it is not for you. I think I've said this before, like on my stream, gamers are really bad at vocabulary and they don't know how to distill how they feel into like specific words. And so people will play a game, and I was prone to this when I was in my early 20s, but people will play a game and not like the game and just say the game is bad or it sucks or whatever without taking the time to think about like, this game isn't bad. I just don't like it. It's just not for me. And that's perfectly okay.
Yeah, and that really encapsulates the way I feel about the combat in this particular game. Like, I love it. I just kind of wish it was a book.
Oh, so you just want the script to read?
I just want the story.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm really in love with.
Yeah, I can see that.
Story, and like, I mean, even like I could see this as, you know, like a big 10 episode Netflix miniseries. Like, if they spent a lot of money on it, like, I think it's that high quality.
Okay. Well, I am excited to have our deep dive on it when you finally beat it, so we can.
Yeah, the story behind the game is really just as interesting as the game. So excited about that conversation too.
Nice.
So what are you playing?
I have been all over the place since we last recorded. I did so Repo came out with a pretty big update. I played that on stream for the past like couple of Wednesdays. I picked up
that is weird as hell.
It's fun. It's just a dumb. So there's a term for all of these like co-op only or a co-op specific or co-op focused like horror spooky games or whatever. They don't even have to be horror games. Like, it's just like there's been a bunch of games that have come out that are specifically aimed at just doing dumb stuff with your friends. They all have like a weird niche. And the term is called friend slop because it's like most of these games are $5 to $10. It's easy to convince your friend to spend $10 to have like 3 or 4 hours of fun and then never touch it again, you know? That is literally cheaper than a movie at this time. Like, it's cheaper than most things you can do socially. And it's easy to, you know, if think about it from like a indie game dev sense, it's like you spend a minimal amount of time on this thing. Peak is another game that came out that I've been playing that is like literally the same thing. The devs did it all literally in a game jam, like a weekend game jam session, and released it, and it sold like millions of copies. But like, it's easy to convince your friends to just drop $10 or one person to just spend $40 for their friends to have fun every now and then, right?
So, you know what that really reminds me of is when I was a kid, we would go to Movie Gallery or Blockbuster and we would rent a game for a weekend. You know, a couple of my friends would be spending the night with me, and, you know, we would rent just whatever crazy, weird looking games we could find.
I mean, that is really what it is. It is that distilled. It is the new age version of that, but instead of renting it, you get like a cheap game for like $10. So it's got a negative term, and there are certainly games out there that like are, to put it, the only word I can think of is scam. But I mean, they're not necessarily a scam, but they feel scammy.
Yeah.
Just by nature of being like, just they promise a lot and then you play it and it's like, oh, this is fun for like maybe a couple of hours, like literally the refund time, and then just like, okay, well, it's not that great. But there are some games that have stood the test of time, like Lethal Company, Repo, Peak. Like the Peak devs came out with another one. I forget the name of it, but you had a camera and it was like content warning. That's what it was. So those games have stood the test of time to me and my friends, and we go back to them quite often. So I
I mean,
think
I think this is great. Like,
yeah,
games need to be weird again.
yeah, no, I agree. And I think, we'll probably talk about how the AAA space is horrible and miserable yet again. But I think if you want to find like a part of the gaming world that is willing to take risks and just try new things and like throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, you're going to find that in the indie space. So I played Repo. I did some Mecha Break, which is Overwatch. It's a Gundam Overwatch essentially. Did that with some friends. I went back into Pal World because they had a ton of updates and I had nothing to play. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to reinstall it and just start a private server and just play around and mess around with it.
So where do you fall on the Pal World versus Pokemon? Like, do
Pal
you
World's
think
better.
do you think the Pokemon devs are just like clutching their pearls and
I think
trying to
Nintendo
act like
is.
they created this whole idea? And
To be fair, I think that yes, they did create the idea of catching monsters, blah 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 blah, right? However, in the same sense that it's kind of miserable for WB to patent the Nemesis system,
yes,
it's horrible for Nintendo to try and patent catching something in a ball. I think that is the dumbest possible thing. And I understand that, yes, some of the Pal World monster designs or the pals, whatever they're called, like they look eerily, weirdly similar to Pokemon monsters, but also like Pokemon themselves haven't come out with iconic monster designs in forever. And I think you just have to be willing to accept that like you can only do so much in a realm of things, you know?
I mean, like I get kind of where they're coming from, but I mean, in the end, Charizard is just a dragon.
Yep.
Like, you aped that from classical fiction.
Yep.
Like, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think that Nintendo's going to win this suit, quite frankly. I think Power World's going to be okay because I think a lot of these people kind of realize that like it's just not, I don't know, it's just not their thing. They're not, I don't think they really have much of room to stand on. And I think Nintendo is just mad that another company came in and is kind of pushing the genre forward with a different direction than what they are willing to do. Because let's face it, Pokemon's been essentially the same game since it came out. Like they haven't done anything. It's been the same formula forever.
Yeah, there is nothing that Nintendo hates more than innovation that they don't come up with.
Yes. So could they have done it? Yes. Will they? Probably not. Like the best thing that Pokemon has done is what was that 3D one that came out on the Switch that was like miserable to play because it ran at like 20 FPS?
The one that looked like a PS2 game?
It was awful and it ran like crap, but it was
muddy.
It was fun. It was so fun. That is the first Pokemon game I've played that I think I genuinely enjoyed since like OG Pokemon games. Like it was actually really good, and I was really mad that it ran like it did. So outside of that, I also picked up Marvel Rivals again. They started season 3, and I skipped season 2, so I'm back on that comp grind.
You just can't quit, can you?
I want to, but I can't. I've got to. It's one of those things where like once I realize I'm good at a game, I get really hard into it, and I hit Celestial one season, and I am pretty high up there again. I think I just hit like Diamond 3 last night because like I lost rank when the season 2 hit. I didn't play season 2 because I hated season 2. And then I lost rank from losing rank. So now I'm slowly climbing my way back up the ladder. So, and then I picked up Killing Floor 3 just to have some dumb, fun game to play, and Wuchong Fallen Feathers, which is Bloodborne meets Wukong. This is the best way I could possibly describe it. So that's been what I've been playing.
Where does it sit in the pantheon of Souls likes? Is it just a shameless plug-in, or
no? I think it does some of its own interesting stuff. Granted, I think I am only just now beating the first chapter. I haven't put more than like 7 hours into it. I don't know how long it is. I haven't seen anything on it other than like the trailers. Literally all I did was play it on Game Pass for like a couple of hours, realize I kind of like the way the combat is. And then I went and bought it to support the company, I think my
God, what
favorite
a deal Game Pass is, by
I
the
know,
way.
right? I think my favorite thing about it is that you can have two weapons at once and you swap between them. It is that first Berserker game that I played was more like
Mhm.
a Devil May Cry meets Souls game. This is kind of the same, but less focus on like action combat, but just giving you more versatility in that combat. Like, yes, you have combos. Yes, you have different moves you can do, but it's not like all in on that action combat fantasy like First Berserker was. It's a little slower. It just have combos though. Like I said, you can have two different weapons. You get an ability where you can swap weapons like mid combo, that kind of thing. But the combos are slower. They're more deliberate. My favorite thing about it is it doesn't have a mana system like a Souls game. Typically,
Mhm.
it like Wukong even had mana where like you could only cast so many spells. For anyone that's played like World of Warcraft, it basically has a combo point system where if you perfect dodge or you are using a certain weapon that is meant to be used with magic, you get these like skill points essentially. And then you can cash those skill points in on a spell. So you are incentivized to be aggressive, hit enemies to gain skill points, perfect dodge to get skill points, perfect parry to get skill points if you have that weapon. Um, and go from there. You can also respec anytime you want to. So if you just get tired of a playstyle, you can just go and be like, you know what, I want to use something else. And there's no weight systems. You can wear like literally the heaviest armor in the game and not worry about like what most Souls people know as fat rolling,
That's
where like
kind
you
of an
become like really slow.
interesting difference, right? I mean,
Yeah.
most
I
games have adopted the weight system and encumbrance.
yeah, that's why I picked it up because I was like, this is interesting enough for me to try it out and see what I think about it. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it did enough different that I was genuinely interested in it. So we'll see how it goes.
Very cool.
All right. Do you want to take us through the next little bit?
Yeah, so kind of the show layout for the day. We're going to do some quick news bits, just a roundup of some of the minor things that have happened in the industry in the last month. Then we're going to spend quite a bit of time, I think, talking about Microsoft.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we've got a lot of news, kind of some deep dives, maybe way too much financial information.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it all adds like real context to the story.
Sure. Yeah.
And then to end the show, we're going to play a game where I'm going to make you the CEO of Microsoft's gaming division.
Do I get strapped to a table or something a la Saw?
Yeah, and if you don't add microtransactions, it shocks you.
Oh,
So
hey,
you
that's
know
sounds like how most shareholders handle game
that's
dev.
right.
So, hey,
Yeah, we're gonna go all the way back to 2014, and I'm
oh
gonna
no.
ask you some questions and see if you're smarter than Phil Spencer. So
Oh, I really hope I am. This is going to be interesting.
I've got faith in you.
Do you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I think
okay.
you can pass the
Well, that makes
test.
one of us, but we'll see
Yeah.
how it goes.
All right, so let's just jump into the quick news. The most interesting thing is also kind of tied to Microsoft too. The $80 price point was apparently just too much for the industry. Borderlands walked their price, hiked back. Borderlands 4 is going to be $70 instead of 80 now. And Microsoft also walked back the Outer Worlds 2 price, which was originally going to be 80. Now it's going to be 70. And they've confirmed that their first party slate for the whole holiday is going to be 70. So I think this is a real win, for the industry, for people who actually buy games. But I'm worried about what does this say about the pre-order interest in Outer Worlds 2 and Borderlands 4? So what do you think? Why do you think they back the price down?
If I'm not mistaken, and I could be very mistaken, I don't think the pre-orders for either of those are particularly high. And
Now, I think you're right.
to be fair, I think that there was a lot of backlash when both got announced, like a ton of backlash, probably more backlash than they thought.
Yeah, I
So
mean, Randy Pitchford specifically come out and said real fans will figure out a way to pay for it. And
Yeah.
I think real fans showed him they just won't pre-order the game.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I also think that, I mean, let's be real. People that got a Switch, people that got Mario Kart, like Nintendo knew that Nintendo fans are going to buy whatever they want at whatever price, because that's, I'm not going to say it's the only games they own, but they will prioritize that over everything else, right? Almost to a detriment, because the things I have heard is that World is just not that fun, and it's not as good as the last Mario Kart. Like, I don't know if that's true. I obviously haven't played it, but I haven't seen anyone be like super excited about it or feel really good about having gotten it. I hear Donkey Kong is great, but again, I need more than like a game and a half if I'm gonna get that system, right? Meanwhile, I think Microsoft and Pitchford, I don't even know if it was his decision, but I think those two companies saw the price hike, thought they could also do it because most people will. And then they got the backlash that they weren't expecting. And they realized, sorry, we don't actually have that amount of power. We can't do that.
Yeah, I really feel bad for the Outer Worlds 2 game devs.
I do
because
too.
they've spent the last month kind of banging the drum that, hey, we didn't make this decision.
Yes. And it was the same thing with the Borderlands devs. Like, you saw so many devs be like, hey, that was not our call. I'm sorry. And to reiterate, whenever you see these decisions be made, it is never the devs. I don't know a single dev that has ever outright said, I want to make this game bad. I mean, think about the idea that game dev on average takes 6 to 8 years now. Do you want to spend 6 to 8 years of your life working on what is essentially a passion project and it just be the worst thing to release? I don't think people do. But also, I don't think most people understand that behind the scenes, 90% of the decisions that get made are not up to the devs. They just have to do the work.
Yeah, it's the machinations of these giant evil corporations that are just crunching numbers in spreadsheets, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You know. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think the industry or the economy right now can tolerate that kind of price hike. I mean, it'll work for Nintendo because they're going to release, 10 games in the next, 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And, honestly, they probably don't even care about the Switch 2 at this point. They've sold 4 million units. They're probably happy with that for right now.
It's a success for them.
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
it's fine.
It went well. Good for them, I don't, to preface, while I don't like the Switch 2 and I don't play a lot of Nintendo games anymore, I never, ever, ever want a game or company to fail. The world is like, our ecosystem is a much better place if there is competition and people are succeeding everywhere. It just didn't have enough value for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Donkey Kong's just not worth $600.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. I mean, maybe in 6 months, a year, there'll be enough stuff out and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because I want to play it.
Yeah, I do too.
Actually, I'm really excited about playing Donkey Kong. I'm really excited about playing Tears of the Kingdom at, 60 frames.
Yeah.
Frankly, like a real game.
Like a real game. It's crazy.
And, I think that's awesome, So.
No, I agree. I agree.
But it's not, the juice is not worth the squeeze.
It's not. Not right now, no. So what else we got?
So you want to talk Splitgate 2?
Must we?
Well, I mean, I think it's worth kind of broaching the subject, because really I want to pitch it to you with a question.
Okay, go ahead.
It's like, can a weird, new, non-IP based multiplayer shooter succeed in this market?
I think it can. I just don't think it can in the way Splitgate 2 tried.
Because they've already lost 90% of their player base.
Yes. So I think walking, how do I put this? I think walking out on stage saying you're going to make games great again and wearing that hat and
so tone deaf,
immediately playing a bombastic trailer to Imagine Dragons is not the play. nor is it launching with the cash shop and the egregious, like, I forget the exact price, but it was a ridiculous asking price for like a portal effect. Like,
I think it was $50 right?
Was it?
Is what I saw. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought
So
so.
like,
Yeah.
no, I understand wanting to monetize things and wanting to make things profitable, especially if you're a free to play game. However, literally, like I was just talking about the friend swap thing, if you're gonna do it, make it cheaper so that more people are willing to play and more people are willing to pay that amount of money, you know? Like I don't think you're going to make profits. Like for every one person that would have bought that thing at $50, there's probably 10 people that would have bought it for $10.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Splitgate 1 was very popular and people loved it. So I do think there is space for Splitgate 2. In my circles, people were very excited about it because they play that game and they play like that competitive type thing. It just came out way too early. And I think like the next thing they released for it was a battle royale, which no one really wants right now. And quite frankly, I think the battle royale genre is played out. I think the battle royale genre has been kind of abused to death at this point, and I think there's no more market share there. I think most people that play a battle royale either play Fortnite or they play Warzone, and I don't think you're going to take anyone from those two.
No, they've already got their home. You know, they know where they're going to get that battle royale fix. Like you're not pulling that audience away.
Yeah, the arcadey people play Fortnite. They want to do all the meme stuff. They want to hang out in user lobbies. They want to play user creations. The hardcore people play Warzone. And that's what you got. Like I don't think there's going to be, I mean, I could be wrong. I just don't think there's going to be another player that can hop in this space and do what either of those two offer right now. Plus, you have all the skins and stuff. No one wants to leave hundreds and hundreds of dollars on the table they spent on battle passes and skins. You have to make something absolutely phenomenal to tear people away from those spaces.
Yeah, there's really no way to get over what they call the sunk cost fallacy of games like that, where people are invested in the ecosystem. And it's the same reason people still play WoW.
And to be fair, the people that don't play battle royale games don't want a battle royale in their aggressive like esports title. They just don't.
No, I agree with you. I just don't think there's a place for it right now.
No, I think that ship has sailed. You either hopped on when it was good and made space, or you didn't and you just pivot to something else. I don't think there's any space there.
All right, so let's shift gears from a game that's probably going to be dead in 6 months to hopefully one that's going to release sometime this year in Battlefield 6. They just dropped their reveal trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched it.
How do you feel?
So we're getting a multiplayer reveal trailer on the 31st. I am cautiously optimistic because I think they don't want another Battlefield 2042 or whatever it was called. They don't want that to happen. I don't think that game necessarily failed, but it was nowhere near as popular as they wanted it to be. I think they eventually turned it around and people do play it every now and then, at least that I know. But it wasn't a smash hit, and they want Battlefield to be back on the map. Again, like I said earlier, I don't think devs really want something to fail. I don't think, obviously, executives want something to fail. Most of the time, these people are trend chasing, unfortunately. But I think and I hope that fiasco that the last one went through helped to prove to them what their core audience is and to appeal more to that audience.
Yeah, so when it comes to Battlefield, I'm strictly in a wait and see mentality. Like I'm going to have to get my hands on it because to me, it has to be something that is so far afield from Call of Duty.
I think it will
stand out.
No, I think it will
like, I long for the old school Battlefield days.
Yep.
where it felt like a different kind of game than Call of
Yes.
Duty. And I think they chased trends like what you just said, and it didn't work for them, and they ignored their core audience. And I'm hoping this is going to be a return to form.
Yeah.
But again, in like this economy, I don't know how they're going to compete with Call of Duty being on Game Pass.
I think it's the same as Nintendo in that the people that want to play Battlefield, as long as they are sold on it being a Battlefield game and it not being a hero shooter trend chasing like class system, I think they're going to play it. I think they will do what they can. And from what I understand, this Battlefield is getting high praise internally. Like people love it. Like people, like the executives at EA have high, massive expectations for this game. To my knowledge, they've partnered with Sony for some of it and have some things going on in the background for that. So that could be interesting to see what happens there. They've put a lot of work in this game, and I don't think they want it to fail by any means. So I think they're taking it very cautiously. If it were me, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, now the question I'm going to pose to you is, if this Battlefield fails, does it go away for a while?
Probably.
Like, is this the last one we're going to see for a decade?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, it's the only shooter they have, so they may try to, maybe not the only shooter. It's the biggest shooter they have. So they may try to like rebrand at some point or something, or try to come up with a new IP, but like, I don't know. I think it will be gone for a little bit at least, and they will have to completely reassess. I really hope I'm not wrong here. I don't feel like it's going to fail. I think from everything I've heard, people are really excited for it. So we'll see. However, from the gaming side, from like the audience, like people are skeptical, as they have every right to be, because they don't know what's being worked on, and B, they don't really know what to expect after how bad the last one turned out, And quite frankly, even
the audience is skeptical. Like what you're saying.
Yeah. And quite frankly, even after the last thing they showed, like all we got was a campaign trailer. Essentially, there was no gameplay. We didn't see how it feels. We didn't really get to see like anything other than, typical war game storyline, whatever. They're fun to play, but I can't get invested in them because I just don't care. Right.
I watched the trailer and I was like, okay, a new Battlefield.
Yes.
Like I don't feel anything.
If it were me, and this is what I was going to say earlier, what I would do if they are capable of doing this. So the next multiplayer trailer is supposed to drop on the 31st, right?
Yep.
31st is, if I'm not wrong, is a Thursday. If it were me, and I know that they've partnered with Sony, what I would do is launch the trailer. At the end of the trailer, say, PS5 owners can download and try the stress test beta this weekend. And like literally after the trailer, launch a multiplayer beta from Thursday to Sunday. And then the week after that, open it up to PC, Xbox, and console, and let everybody try it and see what they think. And
I think that's the best path to success.
Yes. And then in like, that would be early August, then like maybe, month or two later, release it, depending on how it goes. Or if people hate it and you need to take it back, then you can push it back. But I think that would be the path forward.
No, I like that idea. I think that's a good one.
So is that what's going to happen? I don't know. I would love to see it. I think that's the best path forward, but maybe it's not ready yet. I don't know what's going on. So,
I mean, they've got to stress test it if they want it to have as big a player base as I'm assuming the internal targets are.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no way you can release a game like this.
My sources say they wanted to compete with Warzone as far as player count goes.
Yeah, then they would be absolutely insane.
I know. I personally, I don't think it's going to compete with the player count of Warzone. You're looking at like something that already had a sizable install base that grew over years and years and years. And I know more people that play Warzone than I do people that play Fortnite, weirdly enough, just because of like the types of people I hang around. I think that's kind of a ridiculous number, and I feel like they're setting themselves up for failure. But I really hope that they succeed because I do love Battlefield and I want to see more of them. I really do.
But if they want this game to succeed, they've got to get it in people's hands and show them it's something different.
Yes, I think that's the key point. You have to put
Yeah.
it in people's hands. You also have to think about where the economy is right now, how many games people are willing to buy in that economy, and hope they don't, pull another let's charge $80-$90 for it thing.
Yeah, I just don't see how they can.
I don't
I
think
don't
so
think they
either.
will.
EA has supposedly said that they're not going to meet, the Nintendo price thing.
Yeah.
And even Nintendo games haven't. I think Mario Kart World is the only one that's been quote unquote premium priced so far. So, we'll see how that goes.
All right, well let's move on from Battlefield. Let's talk a little Subnautica 2 drama.
Yeah.
So have you been following this story?
I have followed it quite closely because it is incredibly interesting, but go on.
All right, so basically for people who don't know, there is a lawsuit going on between two of the original co-founders of the studio Unknown Worlds, the studio that made the first Subnautica and have been working on the sequel, and their South Korean publisher Krafton, who you may know they bought and own PUBG and publish it. They've published some other smaller stuff, but PUBG's the big one. So basically, the TLDR is there is a deal between Krafton and Unknown Worlds, and if Subnautica 2 releases in 2025, there's a $250 million milestone payment to the studio that's owed.
That's assuming they make a certain amount of money with that release,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, there's some other criteria, but the baseline is they have to get it out, right?
Yep.
So Krafton comes in, replaces the CEO, who was one of the original co-founders, with a new guy from their internal team, and then they delay the game into 2026. So there's no way for the studio, the devs, to get that milestone payment.
Yeah.
So from the outside, this looks like a really heinous, capitalism gone wild story. And that was my first internal take on it.
Yep.
Then you gave me a little more context. So why don't you
Yes.
talk about that part?
So the general context behind, like, once you actually dig into it a little bit, there are some internally leaked documentation where it essentially talks about how the game's just not ready. Now, the old CEO, the old leaders of the team will tell you that it's ready, but there were some slides that kind of got leaked out. I don't know how, I don't know where they're from, but they have been proven to be valid, where in order to release the game on time, they were going to cut like 2 massive biomes, a whole Leviathan, a bunch of creatures, a bunch of tools. One of the vehicles, a Trident, which is like kind of one of the key vehicles, bunch of customization stuff. And I think roughly 6-ish hours of story content was just going to be cut so that they could make the release. Now, you could say that that's just how early access rolls, right? But you could also say that like they're just releasing it anyway because they know that the Subnautica brand is big. They know that people have been wanting to play co-op Subnautica for forever, and you put that in early access, people are going to buy it. So they would probably hit those figures. But on the Krafton side, I could see them seeing them and being like, this is going to ruin the brand once people realize how little content is actually here. And it's going to hurt sales down the road. And we can't do that. So both sides of the story are quite compelling. But it's interesting to see how this plays out. I don't really honestly know which way it goes.
So what you described definitely sounds more like a pre-release alpha version of the build that they're trying to push out. And I think that would really piss people off.
I think so too.
If it hits Steam with no context in that regard. Sometimes people are more understanding if they're buying a, quote unquote early access game and they know they're going to get more content down the line.
Yep.
Some people can tolerate it. I think it's totally understandable why the devs would push hard to, get something out the door,
Yep.
because of this insane milestone payment. But I think the concern that you brought up about the potential damage long term to the brand is very valid. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this spins out.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be watching the story as it unfolds. I want to know what's happening. I want to know what else comes to light, because even though it feels like we have a lot like on the table with it currently, it also feels like it feels like there's some information missing on both sides, and I just want to see what they all say.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows the whole story.
No, I want
outside
I
of
want
the co-founders and the crafting people.
Yeah, I want to see the further context. I want to know exactly what led to each decision being made.
The thing I find really interesting about this is I don't understand why they would have to partner with a publisher like Crafton. Like, I guess they were just trying to get a payday when they sold the studio or whatever.
Maybe.
But like Subnautica, it sold millions of copies.
It was also in early access for a long time. Like I
remember but they made a
it.
lot of money.
Yeah.
So you would think they would have enough cash to fund the development of Subnautica 2. Obviously, I guess they didn't, but
well, I mean, the whole co-op thing, I remember them saying outright that they would never do co-op. Like, it was just not something that they ever wanted to do. Even they did like a spiritual sequel to Subnautica that came out around the time the PS5 launched, I think. And it didn't have co-op either. And they were just like, yeah, we're not doing co-op. So when this got announced as co-op, was a pretty big deal, quite frankly. And it's something people have always wanted, to the point that like there are co-op mods for Subnautica. They don't really work that well, at least the last time I checked them, but like they're out there. People want it. So again, friend
all
swap,
of these
right?
survival games are better with friends.
They are 100%.
Co-op makes the experience 10 times better.
Absolutely.
So I get why people would want it.
Yeah.
And if you played the original Subnautica on console like PS4 when it come out, like it ran like ass on PS4. So I can see why they just couldn't do co-op technically.
Yeah.
Like the frame rate just it couldn't even run by itself, let alone add another player. So.
Makes sense.
So that's all the little stuff for the month. You wanna jump into the Microsoft of it all?
Yeah, give us the rundown, and let's hear how horrible they are at management.
Okay, so let's take this from a top-down level, and then we'll look at the different studios, right? So across the board in the Microsoft gaming division, they cut 9,000 jobs. Well, across the board at Microsoft. Many of these were impacted at these studios. The kind of insidious thing about this is the same time Microsoft did that, they applied for an estimated between 6,000 and 14,000 work visas to be able to hire foreign workers and take advantage of lower wages. So on the surface, this looks like they're just straight trying to cut cost.
Yeah.
Which all companies do. So
all companies do, and it becomes a thing. Just to talk very briefly about the way like corporations work in general. Every year, the board, like stockholders in particular, expect them to get more and more earnings. That's literally why you buy stock in a company. And sometimes that doesn't happen. And in order to make the investors happy, you have to cut costs, and you have to find ways to make money. Is it good? No, obviously not. I think it's horrible. I think it's terrible. I think it shows how anti-worker, like, or anti-people, whatever you want to call it, most corporations are ran. And I don't. It's not a justification. It just that's usually the reason why they make these moves.
Yeah, it's just really strange in this case when you look at the financials, because by all accounts, the gaming business has been making money for about 5 years for
Yes.
Microsoft. And overall, as a company, they're just printing money. You know, they had like $270 billion in total revenue.
Yeah.
It's just insane. But like, even if you look at like really successful studios in their portfolio, King, the studio that makes Candy Crush or operates it now, you know, which is basically nothing but a money printing machine at this point. They lost 200 jobs. Turn 10, who makes Forza, they lost 50% of their staff. At Rare, Everwild got canceled, and internally, this game was testing really well. There are so many stories about how good it was. And it's even more shocking because apparently it's been in development for approximately 10 years.
Yeah.
Like they've spent so much money on this. And then you look at the Initiative, the studio that had been tasked with the Perfect Dark reboot. The Initiative is closed. Perfect Dark's canceled. That game spent 7 years in development.
Yep.
ZeniMax, their ESO follow-up, codenamed Project Blackbird, just completely canceled. Same thing. Internally, it was testing very positive. Phil Spencer talked about it on a podcast about 2 months ago, how it was going to revolutionize MMOs and how fun it was. Straight canceled. And even Call of Duty support staffs, Sledgehammer and Raven, have been impacted. Like, you know, if Call of Duty's not making enough money, what's going on the financial side? Right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you would think they're making a good bit of money. And there's a part of me that wonders how much Game Pass feeds into this. Like, I don't know numbers or specifics, but I had heard that Game Pass was kind of starting to grow stale and that the numbers weren't rising, and it's kind of like hit its limit. And I don't know enough internal numbers or anything to know, like, you know, how much COD is selling or how many people are, or how much it is of its revenue comes from Game Pass type stuff. Obviously, as a cash shop, obviously it's making money, right? But like, how, like, Microsoft has to pay companies to get this stuff on Game Pass, and it has to be willing to eat the cost. Like, how well did Doom sell? Because it didn't get talked about for more than like a week, right? Like,
it was a blip on the radar.
It came out and like most people played it, and then you never heard about it again. Was it a success? I had fun with it, but like, how many people just played it on Game Pass? Yeah.
Yeah. So for a little context, there are some reports floating around online. The initial estimate is that Game Pass cost between $350 and $400 million annually to operate, which is a chunk. But Microsoft's gaming division generates $20 billion in revenue every year.
Let's also not consider I mean, obviously different parts of a company has different budgets, right? But other parts of Microsoft make money. Like, I work for a company that is literally considered a Microsoft shop. We interface with Copilot. We interface with all of their internal, like, office-based stuff, like Microsoft Teams. Like, we pay them. I'm sure, I don't know like the specifics because I'm not in accounting or whatever. I don't make those decisions. But they get a pretty sizable check from us and many, many other companies to use their internal stuff. So, plus Microsoft also has like Azure, which is their AWS specific, like Amazon type hosting service. And they do a lot more than obviously just gaming, and that's got to be profitable at some point. So,
and when you like really dig into the nitty gritty of the financials, when you look at the gaming part, so the workforce is about 10% of Microsoft's total staffing, right?
Yeah.
And then when you look at revenue, the revenue of the gaming division is about 10% of Microsoft's overall revenue. So from a business perspective, nothing is really like out of whack there that would make you think there's an underlying problem in the business.
It's at least self-sustaining, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the bigger problem that what we're seeing now is the bill coming due on the $85 billion worth of acquisitions in the last 10 years.
That makes sense. And they have to make up for that somewhere.
And frankly, the return just hasn't been there,
No,
right? I mean,
it's not.
so you look at like Minecraft, like they paid $2 billion for. Now, Minecraft prints money,
Yeah.
no doubt. They've made their money back on that, but they haven't mined it for what it could be. You know, there's no sequel. It's insane. Same thing for you look at ZeniMax and Bethesda. They paid what, 8 billion, I think, 8.5 billion. And all they've got out of that is Starfield.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
like
rough.
I just don't see the return on investment for all this. And I think, you know, what we're starting to see is just the contraction of the business
Microsoft
for the
has
gaming side.
a Microsoft has a AAA problem. Like they just can't put out a good they can't do a good Halo. They have no face anymore. They don't have a good Gears of War. They don't have like when you think of Sony, you think of Kratos. You think of you used to think of Sackboy, but like they have faces for their studios like Ratchet and Clank. Like, you know, when you think of like Sony first party titles, like you have faces that you equate them to, right? Same thing with Nintendo. It's like Mario and stuff, right? What does Microsoft have right now?
Yeah, I mean Microsoft's mascot right now is a car, right? It's Forza.
I mean,
I
they
mean,
got cut too, though. Like their staff got removed. So
yeah, but like aside from Call of Duty, that's really their biggest selling franchise that's first party.
yeah, they don't have any gaming mascots anymore. Not any that they can be proud of.
Which when you look at the portfolio of what they own, you know, why is Steve from Minecraft not the mascot of Microsoft?
Yeah,
Like, it's so stupid that they have not moved that brand to the front and center of their whole gaming division. But I think that kind of goes back to the whole mismanagement of the gaming side in general, because what we talked about just a little bit earlier, you know, let's go game by game, right? Look
yeah.
at Rare. Everwild's in development for 10 years. How, how is that sustainable?
No, it's not. And I think that is the type of thing. It's not that the game I don't think it's the fact that the game was bad. I don't think that part of it is that the devs were having, you know, a rough time with it. A lot of the time when you see long development times like that, it's because there's no direction. It's because of mismanagement. Look at literally the Final Fantasy VII remakes. You
Yep.
have, you know, remake, rebirth, and the next one is supposed to come out in like a couple of years. It's supposedly going to drop in the time for Final Fantasy VII's 30th anniversary, right? Like that's the target that I've heard, and that would give it like what a 4-ish year dev time, which is wild. But they've kept the same team from point to point to point. They already have a lot of what they want to do down. They already have like the direction they want to go. They have specifics, you know, blah blah blah. And a lot of these companies just quite frankly don't know what they're doing because a lot of them are trend chasing and they don't have any confidence in what they're making. I think it really boils down to a lot of that.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, look at what just happened with the initiative. You know, they put this all-star team together to reboot Perfect Dark,
Yeah.
which on paper sounds like a good idea. But you cannot let a project like that gestate for 7 years. It's got to be small scale and fun and look amazing, and you've got to put it out. You know, like I know you've worked on big internal teams at the companies you've worked on. I've
Yep.
managed, you know, multi-million dollar projects.
Yep.
There comes a time when you run a team that you have to produce. You know, like you can't just run on a treadmill
Yeah.
forever.
You've got to show viability. You've got to show that
Exactly.
there's a reason for you to be there.
And that's what we're seeing with Microsoft right now. Unfortunately, you know, as cool as Phil Spencer is, the Microsoft gaming studio is just on one big treadmill.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
Frankly, and I've heard this sentiment across many, many podcasts, many, many conversations I've had. I think it's just time for Phil to go. Like I think him and the other
Matt
leaders,
Booty,
yeah,
Sarah
Booty,
Bond,
yeah, I think it's
all
just
these
time for
people,
them to go. Like
they
I
got to
think
go.
they are I think they are causing way more problems than they are solutions. The only thing I've seen that I've heard of that I think is a pretty good idea is their new initiative of like they want to get Xbox everywhere because they realize that like TikTok and whatever is taking a lot of people's screen time, right? And they want to try to get Xbox on everything so that you could just stream like a cool little indie game or something in like the hour or two you have to play to whatever your device is on. And that is a cool space to be in, but I don't think it's going to be where people like it doesn't make up for the fact that you don't have any games. It doesn't make up for the fact that you don't have anything that people want to resonate with.
Yeah, I mean, they own, 4 or 5 of the biggest IPs in gaming history,
Mm-hmm.
and they're doing nothing with them.
I mean, I
it's
think
criminal.
I think that what Stadia tried to do was way ahead of its time, but I do genuinely believe that's going to be where it goes. I think I may be wrong about this, but I think in like 10 years time, people are going to look back on Stadia and be like, man, that was cool, but like it came out way too early and it didn't have the support it needed. In the same way that like the Dreamcast came out with a 56K modem and people thought it was dumb. And now we're playing online games almost exclusively, right? Like I think that was way ahead of its time. It was a great idea. The world wasn't ready in the same way that, Stadia, I don't think the world was really ready for what they were offering. And I see where Microsoft is doing with like the Play Everywhere thing, and I think that's kind of what they're leaning into. I just don't think it's a good replacement for not having a good first party title and then hamstringing anyone that makes a good game for your company.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree with that. I think cloud-based gaming is the future. I'm just not sold that the infrastructure of the United States is going to be ready for that in the next decade. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that is one thing. Like, we just don't really have it. I mean, there's still people. I mean, we've talked about this briefly, I think, in one of our other shows, but there's still places in rural areas that just don't have internet or access to it, and they just can't play games anymore, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, I literally just drove from Huntsville, Alabama to Atlanta, Georgia. And there were spots in this country where I have no cell phone service.
Yeah, I remember those spots.
And I have a big cell phone provider. This is not a small company.
Yeah.
But, the United States base internet infrastructure in some places is amazing, and in some places it's worse than third world countries.
Let's be real. Most of the United States infrastructure is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah. I mean, you can talk to anybody that's been to like South Korea.
Yeah.
And see how behind we are.
Oh, it's miserable.
Globally. Yeah.
Absolutely. I've had people visit me from Europe and they look around and they're like, "Where are your trains?" And it's like, "Well, we don't really have any. Sorry.
We don't believe in those here."
No,
it's a Ford.
Yeah.
That's your train.
Fossil fuels are the backbone of America for real.
Absolutely.
So it's painful to see for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at the way the console market has constricted in the last like 10 years, it's estimated that Microsoft specifically, their console sales are down like 35% year over year.
Yeah.
So they're just not selling hardware, which honestly is probably saving them money.
No, it is. And I don't want to see them do another system. I really don't. I just go cloud gaming, go third party, put all your stuff on Sony's console. Like, just admit that you don't know how to make a console anymore, or go back internal, get rid of your current, C-suite, get rid of the people running things right now, find somebody else.
So, I would argue that the Series X is a really good console.
Yeah.
Like, I like mine. There's just nothing to play on it.
Yeah, I know. It's got that Switch 2 problem right now.
Yeah.
The problem is it's been out for how long, though?
Oh, I mean, I don't know, but it's been sitting on my shelf collecting dust, for a
I,
long
I
time.
mean, to be fair, that is the issue with most consoles right now. Like we talked about it last show or the show before that, I think, but like this console generation has just been horrendous. Like there's
It
not a
sucks.
lot out.
No,
And
it's
and
terrible.
even talking to my friend that works for one of them, like he will admit, it's like, yeah, there's nothing to play on any of them. He's like, the only reason why I even own one is because they gave me one. Like that's it. So I don't
Yeah, and
blame him.
I mean, I think that just really goes back to the whole mismanagement problem that's plaguing the entire industry right now.
Oh, for sure. It
Because
is
games, like, people can't wait 7 or 8 years between installments of major franchises
no,
and not just move on to something else.
no, not at all. I don't I don't want, let's say on average someone lives 70 years old, right? I
Yeah.
don't want to be able to play 4 to 5 mainline games in my beloved franchise before I die or become too old to play.
Yeah, like my favorite game series is Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
And at this point, if things don't change, the Elder Scrolls 6 will come out when Todd Howard is 63 or 64.
Yeah.
And then realistically, he would have to live to be 80 to make the Elder Scrolls 7.
Yeah. Like you might, even in our lifetimes, we will be lucky to get 3 more of them.
Yeah, I mean, in my lifetime, there will only be one unless they make really drastic changes
Yeah.
at Microsoft.
And that's really shitty to think about. Like it's, I don't know, man. It when you think about the mortality problem when it comes to how long it takes to come out with a game now, like it's kind of stunning and sad.
It is, but it's also relative to the company. Because, okay, look, the Elder Scrolls, there hasn't been a new one since 2011, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we're talking like 14, 15 years. It'll be realistically 17 years before the next one comes
Yeah.
out. Between since 2014, there have been 9 mainline Assassin's Creed games. So, you can talk about the quality, the whatever you want to say about those games, but they've come out and people have played them and people have bought them.
And they're not particularly bad. They just appeal to a different
Yeah,
type of
they're just
person than
yeah,
it
and
initially was.
especially the
Yeah.
later ones, they're mid. They're
Yeah.
not great. They're not going to win Game of the Year, but they're putting stuff out.
Yeah.
People can
Honestly,
play those games.
if I were Microsoft, I would have a Fallout team and I would have an Elder
And
Scrolls team. And
I would too.
and you divide it up. And even if it takes 4 to 6 years for those games to release, that's all they work on. You
So
just,
do you know what the main Bethesda team is working on right now?
I don't actually.
So by all accounts, all rumors, they are still working on the second Starfield DLC.
Oh my God. Really?
That game is so dead. It should be buried in my backyard right now.
Yeah.
We should have already had the eulogy. There shouldn't be a second Starfield expansion.
Anything.
It's
Nothing.
over.
It's
Let
that
it go.
it failed. Like they tried a new IP, it didn't work for whatever
Yeah.
reason. You know,
The-
we've talked about it, but like it didn't do what they wanted it to do. I couldn't even get through the DLC. Like it felt like
No, it's awful.
it was
The
horrendous.
DLC is terrible. It's
Yeah.
so much worse than the main game.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. And so the idea of playing like another DLC, I'm not even going to buy it. Like I'll just say it outright. Like I'm not
Yeah,
interested.
no, me either. But they're not even smart enough internally to drop that
Yeah.
stuff and go, hey, we got to make stuff that makes money.
Yeah.
Because you look, even last year, okay, like the Fallout TV show releases, right? It's this huge cross-cultural show. It brings all kind of eyes to the brand, to this IP.
And there's nothing to drop with it.
Microsoft's sitting there with their pants around their ankles. There's no new Fallout game. Hell, they didn't even remaster Fallout 3 in time for that.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even smart enough to do that. So, like, how can you have any confidence that any of this is going to turn around?
You
Because
can't.
I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
don't.
not
I
good.
think it's done. I think they're done.
I think they definitely should be. Like, it just does not work.
Like at this point, I would buy the Switch 2 before I would buy the next Xbox console because
You
I think
know,
there's going to be more stuff to play on it.
I'm not you're not wrong. I'm with you. The next consoles I honestly plan on buying. I don't think I bought Microsoft this time because I have a PC. Why would I, you know? I definitely wouldn't buy another one. Like, even if I bought this one, I would be pissed.
Yeah, I mean the last Microsoft like Studios game I bought it on PC and it was Avowed.
Yeah. No, me
You know,
too.
and it was fine. You know, it ran okay. It was good.
Yeah, they're
Good
just
enough.
okay. Like, that's
Yeah. Fine.
that's the thing about all of the Microsoft games. They are okay.
But you know, at least Obsidian's putting stuff out. You know, they're trying.
Yeah. I mean, I am so ready to shit my pants over Grounded 2.
I mean, I hope it's amazing.
I
I
do
can't
too.
I cannot wait to watch you fight spiders in that game.
You're gonna watch me not be able to move. The last time I played that game, literally, so for those that don't know, I am severely arachnophobic. I literally went to the movies a couple of weeks ago to watch like the new Superman, and when I got outside with my friend, a spider had webbed up between like his truck and like another car, and I could not move. I am that terrified of spiders. I am a child. I'm a baby.
You
So
should not play Grounded.
when I played Grounded,
I'm going to tell you, you should never play Grounded.
oh, I have. I've played it. I've beaten it.
How did you beat it? One of the main bosses is a giant spider.
I know. So when I played it, I distinctly recall, you know, that first lab you go into under the great tree with all the huntsman spider or the wolf spiders around it.
Mhm.
I went down, like every time I went there, my friend that I played with would have to scout first. And he would tell me if it's safe, and then I would run as fast as I could to get there. Because there sometimes would be that wolf spider that would patrol the entrance of that area. And one time we were on our way out and I could hear it skittering. You know, you can hear it making those noises, and it just makes me
awful.
It makes me shiver just thinking about it. But he told me, he was like, let me go check and see if it's safe. The moment he stepped around the corner, it attacked him. It was outside the door waiting on us. And he was literally like dead at the entrance to the thing. And I was so stricken with fear, I could not physically move. Todd, I've played most horror games known to man, and I am not that terrified when I play them. So I literally sat there while he bled out and died because I could not get the strength to move forward and revive him. That's how terrified I am of spiders.
Yeah, I mean, look, the bugs and insects and arachnophobic, you know, the arachnos in a Grounded are terrifying.
Yeah,
They're modeled really well.
The arachnophobia mode doesn't even help because to me it makes it look worse. The only game I've ever played where the arachnophobia mode actually helped me was oh my god, what's the name of the game? It's like a space game where you're like making stuff for a company. I have it on. Anyway, it's
the dwarf mining one.
Not the dwarf mining one. It is a game like that though.
Okay.
1 second. Let me see. I've got it somewhere.
Yeah, I was thinking like Deep Rock Galactic, maybe.
It is very much that sense, but it's made by Coffee Stain Satisfactory. That's what it's called.
Okay.
So in Satisfactory, there is an arachnophobia mode and it's all it's like in-game lore that you are literally there to, you know, make things for your corporate overlords. Fantastic, you know, engineering game. And the arachnophobia mode replaces all the little spider type alien looking things with like gifs of cats. And you just have this like 2D, like half hollow gif of a cat running at you, making meowing noises. And
That's kind of hilarious.
it's fantastic because like the in your universe lore is that like it's there and they're feeding that to you through your like high tech visor, right? To make you not be afraid of it. It's fantastic. I love it. I think that's great. However, in Grounded, you just get a giant amorphous floating blob that still looks quite terrifying to me. So, can't do it.
I hate spiders too, by the way.
It does it to me, man. That being said, I'm still going to play Grounded 2 because I'm a masochist and I hate myself. And I love survival crafting games like that. And one of my favorite genres is being a tiny little dude in a big world.
Yeah, I mean, the original Grounded's very underrated.
I think so too. I don't really think it had quite enough content, which is why I'm interested to see where this goes. Supposedly, like the starting biome is the size of the entire backyard in Grounded.
Wow.
So that's the rumor I'd seen.
If you like, tiny little people in survival games, have you ever played Small World?
I have.
Okay. What do you think about it? I thought it was kind of crazy. The combat's kind of cool.
It was neat. I didn't give it like a ton of time, but it I think in particular, you're talking about Small World or Small Land?
Maybe Small Land, the one that's where you can you're like a little elf guy.
Yeah, Small Land. So Small World is is like a board game. Small Land is like the survival one. So that's the one like I played it with some friends and I was like, I would just rather play Grounded, quite honestly. But it was also like
it's
super
more like Ark, really.
Yeah, it was super early access when I played it too.
But you can like tame the bugs and ride them around and stuff. It's pretty crazy.
And supposedly that's going to be in Grounded 2 as well now. Like you're going to be able to tame them and ride them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it feels like it, at least from what I've read on it, it seems like Grounded 1 is your test case and Grounded 2 is probably going to be what they really wanted it to be. I really hope that's the way it pans out, but we'll see.
Look at Obsidian cranking out AA banger after AA banger.
Bro, that's honestly all gaming needs to be is like roughly 70 to 80% AA stuff. And then your big, occasionally you'll get a Halo, occasionally you'll get a God of War, but everything else, like I just want to play fun games.
Yeah, I mean, everybody shits on like Outer Worlds and Avowed, but they were perfectly fine games.
No, I agree.
Perfectly fine. So
are they going to win awards? No, but not every game needs to. And I think
it doesn't have to.
I think gaming culture currently is at a spot where people expect
10 or bust.
Yeah, people expect every game to be a 10. And if it's not, it's bad. And it's like, nah, man, like I think if you are really into gaming and you're a fan, then I'm not saying you'll be happy with like a bad game, but you will just be happy to play a game.
But that's the thing, like with Avowed and Outer Worlds and Grounded, they're not bad games. They're just not big budget AAA games either. I had
a great time with it, even though I shit myself more often than not and peed all over this place. Like whenever I saw a spider, I had fun with it. And you know what? I ended up having to be a tank because we needed it. And I went toe to toe with them spiders sometimes. I learned how to perfect block them. I eventually
conquered the backyard.
I eventually got over my fear, and that's what it's about, man. Like I had a great time. I honestly, what it is I got desensitized to them after a while because all those garden spiders and running through the hedge where all those spiders are at, like you just kind of have to do your best.
Yeah, I mean, you see one like every 30 seconds in the game.
Yeah, so it's miserable.
It feels like anyway. All right, so let's move on from Grounded the podcast to a little game I like to call "Are You Smarter Than a CEO?"
Oh boy, okay, let's do it. Let me go get on my saw table.
All right, so we're gonna go back to 2014. And instead of Phil Spencer taking over Microsoft Gaming, it's going to be you, Val.
Okay.
You are the new head of Microsoft Gaming. And me, your little toady that also works for the big evil Microsoft Corporation, I'm going to bring you some ideas. And we're going to see if you're smart enough to pick the right answer, okay?
Okay.
So, the first one. All right, Val. We've got the world's most popular phone game, Candy Crush. It prints money.
Yeah.
We don't have to do anything. All it does is make us rich.
Yeah.
Should we buy it?
I mean, yeah.
Oh my God, you're such a business genius.
I mean,
Literally, no one else would have thought to make that decision. This is why you're in charge. Okay, we're going to go to the next one. I've got an even bigger one for you.
okay.
You know what the highest selling individual video game that's not called Tetris is?
What?
It's Minecraft.
Yeah. Okay.
The kids love it. Everybody plays it.
Yeah.
One day there will be $1 billion movie about it. That's got Jason Momoa in it. You know, Aquaman?
We love Aquaman.
You know, that sexy dude with long hair? One day you could be a part of that. Do you want to buy this franchise and control it forever?
I mean, you may as well if you have the money, right?
God, you're so smart. What business school did you go to?
I did go to a
You
business
make all the
school,
right
but
answers. Now look. Okay. I'm going to ask you another question about Minecraft.
Okay.
There's 2 choices you can do from here, okay?
Okay.
We could make a sequel with better graphics, bigger worlds, deeper survival mechanics.
Okay.
Really blow it out. What's going to be bigger than Minecraft 2? Well, let me tell you. What if we made a Diablo-like clone that plays nothing like Minecraft, but has microtransactions? Which do you pick?
I mean, I would go for Minecraft too, but I think there's going to be a lot of nuance there, right?
Idiot. You might get fired.
I might.
That the first 2 choices were good. That's a terrible one.
Is it?
Why would you make that decision? I just offered you microtransactions.
I think it would build a bigger base.
No, there's no way. People will still be playing this Diablo-like clone to Minecraft in 30 years. I can't even think of what it's called now, but it's going to be that big. Trust me. All right, let's go to the next question. You know a little company called Activision Blizzard?
Yeah.
They own some of the biggest gaming franchises of all time.
Yeah.
What if I just took that and put it in your pocket?
Okay.
What if you could control it?
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Would you buy it?
I would need to know nuance.
Well, you
Personally.
get total control. You can do anything. You control World of Warcraft. You control Call of Duty.
Yeah, fair. I think for a lot of this, there's a lot of nuance that, like, I would, if I'm a CEO in power, I would need to know. But just at face value, yes, I would buy it.
Genius. You're back on track. You might get promoted.
Okay.
Now, let's talk. There's a path here too. World of Warcraft, right? The biggest MMO in history.
Yeah.
Do you let it slowly die on the vine as its audience continues to shrink? Or do you make World of Warcraft 2?
I mean, I would have done WoW too, but again, there's a lot of context that I would need to know.
There's no context. That's just a terrible decision. You just let it sit and do nothing with it.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed in you. I don't even know if you have CEO potential anymore. Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
You ever heard of Elder Scrolls?
Yeah.
Do you like that Fallout?
Yeah.
What if you could just buy that?
Sure.
What if you buy it and Todd Howard's your best friend forever? You own Bethesda.
How cool would it be to be Todd Howard's best friend? If that means I have to own that company, let's do it.
And he has to be your best friend.
He has to be my best friend. It's in the contract. Yeah.
It's in the contract.
He has to give me my own leather jacket that I also wear at cons.
It's already done. He's made it. It's got your name on the back.
Hell yeah. It's got to say Val and Todd forever on the back of it.
It's got it. I don't have that in my closet right now. Okay, but New game pitch, okay?
Okay.
We've bought it.
Yeah.
We've bought it. So, one path, you can make another mainline Fallout and Elder Scrolls game. It's going to print money. Everybody loves those games.
Mm-hmm.
The other path, and this is what I'm selling you. What if we make a space game with 10 loading screens per 5-minute interval?
You know,
Dated graphics, barren worlds with nothing interesting to do, a 5-year too late multiversal storyline that no one cares about, and to top it off, the cherry on top, we do it in a proprietary engine built on the back of code dating back to Morrowind.
Hell yeah. That sounds like a dream.
Oh, now you're back. You're back, baby.
No, honestly,
material.
If it were me, what I would have honestly done, because I know that they like the general idea is re-release Elder Scrolls, use that to train devs, blah blah blah. I would have stuck my main team to Elder Scrolls or Fallout, like like we talked earlier, split them, and then train people on a new like AA title. And just have them work on that until they're ready to move over to like the big team.
So wait, you're saying you would not wait 15 to 17 years to release a sequel to Skyrim?
No, I wouldn't have done that. I get like the general idea is let's introduce something else because we need like more pillars for our company to stand on. Because look, like this is what I mean by like I need more nuance for a lot of these, but like look at from a company standpoint where it's like we're putting out these games on like a 6 to 8 year cadence. What if one of these pillars falls? Kind of the same way Starfield did. But what if we make one of these and it doesn't work? And I know that Bethesda has more pillars than like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, but none of them are as strong as those two, right? So I think you keep your core teams on those two and have your side teams develop new stuff on the side, and maybe one of them ends up being big, right?
But so you want to make a new game, huh? I smell a new pitch. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, we own Bethesda, so you know what else we own? We own Arcane, the critically acclaimed studio behind Dishonored and Prey.
Yeah.
So we could theoretically make another expansive and atmospheric 3D Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Set in a really cool, interesting world. Or we could make a half-ass vampire-themed looter shooter with lots of microtransactions.
See, I would do the other thing, but like there's a lot of nuance on that one too. But I get what you're saying.
I don't think there's a lot of nuance, my friend.
No,
I think the answer's pretty obvious.
No, because like Redfall was 100% just bad mismanagement, and I get that. I think what was there was actually really cool, but it had bad leadership from what I've heard internally. And so I don't want to crap on them, even though like it was a bad game. I don't believe the studio made that game the way they wanted to. You know what I mean? No,
I mean we at Microsoft told them to make it.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Okay. All right, well I got one more thing for you.
Okay.
You ever heard of Fable?
Yeah.
Do you like that Fable?
I love me some
Not Fable 3. Nobody likes Fable 3.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about it. We're going to reboot Fable.
Fable 3 didn't exist?
There is no Fable 3.
Gotcha.
Don't even mention it.
Yeah.
You won't get your bonus.
Okay.
We're going to reboot Fable. Everybody loves reboots, right?
Yeah.
So we've got a historic RPG studio called Rare. We could give it to them. Or we could give it to a racing game studio with no experience in RPGs who has this great idea to reboot a classic with a bland, uninteresting protagonist that does boring, mediocre, basic-ass looking combat.
Nah, that's not the way to go at all.
No, but see, look, if we do that, then we can let Rare languish for 10 years and never release another game.
Do Fable with a character creator, always.
All right, I'm done. So let's go back and let's look at your score.
Okay.
So basically, every good decision that Microsoft has made since 2014,
Yeah.
anyone with half a brain would have done that.
Yeah.
And that's really what I want to illustrate with this
Okay.
exercise.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Is that there's no one that would go, no, don't buy Candy Crush. Don't buy Minecraft.
Yeah.
Don't buy Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Of course you do those things.
Yeah.
But when you start looking at the minutia, the details of what they've done with those things, that's when the decision making from the leadership really comes into question, right?
Yeah.
Because
They can grab things that are going to make them obvious profits, but they don't know what to actually do with the things once they have them in hand.
that's right. I mean, there's nothing like you could literally have replaced Phil Spencer with Val, and the outcome would have bare minimum been the same.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that says about Phil Spencer or Microsoft. You know, maybe the just these roles at these companies are hyperinflated, and you know their day-to-day impact is very low, but when it comes to making these big high-level decisions, it's make or break. You know, I
I'm
don't
just
know.
curious about what goes on more behind the scenes where it's like, obviously someone there is making the decisions, but Phil also has to answer to somebody too, right? Like,
I mean, he answers straight to Sonia Natala, right?
yeah,
The
that's what I'm saying.
CEO of Microsoft proper.
But like, and you know, they have to answer to someone as well. Like, it's not, no one person runs the company. It is always a group. It is always a board. It is always stockholders, whatever. So like, what is going on behind the scenes to make it be this bad?
Yeah, so if you did a studio visit, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you went to Arcane and they pitched you, you know, Redfall,
Yeah.
and what you got to see was the same vertical slice that they showed the gaming community, I am fully confident that you would go, guys, this is not what people want from you.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. No, I agree.
And when you're in a leadership position like that, you have to go, you're not making this.
Yeah.
You're not doing this.
That is one thing that they reportedly have been bad at. Like, it is cool and it is awesome to just sit there and be like, we let studios do what they want. That's fine. But at some point, you have to be able to put your foot down and say, no, this is not going to work.
Yeah, and go back to Bethesda, right? So maybe the Starfield train was too far out of the station when Microsoft bought them to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But Microsoft is this $1 trillion company. Phil Spencer could have went to Todd Howard and said, I get that you're going to make Starfield, but you're also about to spin up a team and go into pre-production on the next Fallout and the next Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
And these games are coming out by the end of the decade.
Yeah.
Because we got to make money.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%.
And that's what I don't understand is these baffling, horrible decisions that they've made, just one after another.
Yeah. I mean,
It makes no sense.
in some of these things, like, I get it. Like, yes, I would rather have World of Warcraft 2, for example.
Yeah.
However, if the MMO is printing money and the MMO genre is dying, then like, why spend money on something that might not work? You know, like, I get that. And I don't know what the internal projections were. I don't know what the internal cost was. Like, there's a lot of nuance that goes into a decision like that.
No, and I understand the World of Warcraft question.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
totally right about that. There's no excuse for Minecraft not having a sequel.
No, for sure.
And for the only thing we've gotten to be Minecraft Dungeons or whatever it was called. Like that, it's just asinine the way they've mismanaged that brand.
Well, I feel like Minecraft is also in the same boat where, like you said, it prints money. Why would they make a second one if the first one's doing fine? Especially,
but you have to keep things relevant, right?
No, I agree, for sure. And if that's we're at this weird spot where it's like you can make a game and just update it for 20 years and keep the same game without having to worry about like the hardcore dev cost to it. And sure, your player base is going to die, but you're going to have hardcore fans. And as long as it's profitable, whatever. Once you start seeing projections fall, that's when I think you start going into more, let's look at sequel territory type thing, right? It's easier to do that with like single player games or like console type games, whatever. It's a lot harder to do that with an MMO or something styled like an MMO because there's a lot more costs that go into it, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. And you're right. There is cost to it. But I think there's also like a detrimental cost to a brand when you just do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, for
because,
sure.
like in this little, whimsical thing that we just went through, I didn't even mention Gears of War.
Yeah.
Like there hasn't been one in 10 years.
Has it been 10 years?
Yeah, 2016 was Gears 4.
Oh my God. I mean,
What
that's another story of mismanagement where that team just doesn't know what they're doing. And they from my understanding, like the next Gears is basically a reboot, or it's not
it's like E-Day, right?
Yeah. It is like they're basically just abandoning the story they had because they couldn't find enough people that are interested in it. And they're just like shelving it like it didn't even happen. And it's like, okay, why? So the problem with that, and I get why they do it, but it's like, okay, you are either admitting the direction that you went in was bad, or you're not willing to see something to fruition. So even the people that were into it, why would they care about your next thing if you're just going to abandon it too?
But they ran into the same problem that Marvel movies ran into. Like they got into these different characters that nobody cared about.
Yep.
And then they pull the Robert Downey Jr. grenade, out of the bag. And they're like, okay, Downey's, back and he's Dr. Doom now.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing with Gears of War E-Day. Like it's going to be Marcus and, the crew again.
Yeah.
Right?
Which, to be fair, the Downey thing could be cool if they do it right, but I don't know if they're going to do it right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I make no value judgment. I'm just saying, that they have no faith in their current slate.
Yes. And I think that says more either about the studio or whatever. It's not the franchise. The franchise obviously stands. People love it. The amount of people that played the remake that's coming out was stacked. People love that game. People want to see that stuff, but like the people running the helm, it's the same with Halo. Like the people running the helm just don't know what they're doing or don't know how to tell like a cohesive, interesting story.
You got to give players what they want.
Yeah.
And, like I bash the hell out of Bethesda. I do, but because I love it.
Yeah.
And because we're underserved as a community. Like there's no reason that these IPs are taking so long to come out. It's just ridiculous. I mean,
it is.
Me and you, we worked in that game store during the height of the Xbox 360.
Oh, God, and, what a time.
We got to see 3 Mass Effect games on one console.
Yeah.
It's insane. Now, I don't want to go back to seeing the amount of crunch and the horrible conditions in the industry that, that made all that stuff possible. But there's got to be a middle ground between that and one game every 15 years.
No, it's taken way too long to come out. And I also wonder how much of this, I think we as gamers also have to take accountability for it because people want bigger, better, higher graphics. We were literally just talking about how people are expecting 10s a lot of the time.
Yep.
Like a lot of that onus is on our culture and our community.
No, I mean, that's true. But when you look at Bethesda, I mean, I think you can argue that the technological stuff is not what held Starfield back.
No, it's not. No, and don't get me wrong.
The game's not crazy pretty.
I am by no means giving them excuses. I think it goes both ways, but like obviously they have horrible mismanagement. It makes it miserable to deal with. Like I can't imagine what a lot of devs are going through. We've both read Jason Schreier's books. Like it's awful. Even like the stuff at Blizzard, like, reading his latest book, like it's horrendous, the type of stuff that all those people go through. Something has to give across the board, So
Yeah, and I mean, I want to reiterate, this is not a dev problem. This is a management
no, for
problem.
sure. It's
You know,
100% management.
the
And
people in the trenches at Bethesda are not the reason why we don't have the next Elder Scrolls.
no, for sure.
It's Todd Howard.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I'm just saying that it's a management problem, but I also think part of it is a consumer problem too, because
Expectations are very high.
yes, it's the same thing. Remember, and we talked about this early on. Alpha Protocol and Mass Effect. Alpha Protocol would have been fine if Mass Effect hadn't came out literally like the year before, or like that same year or whatever, right? Expectations were too high. We are our own worst enemies when it comes to some of these releases.
But these console manufacturers have got to set proper expectations too, because
for sure,
what we heard in the run up to the launch of PS5 and the new Xbox was 4K 60. That's going to be the norm.
Yeah, remember when it was 8K?
Nothing on console comes out now that runs natively at 4K 60.
They're just using buzzwords. Like I see the same thing in my space where I got hired as a DevOps engineer for one company, and they literally didn't know what a DevOps engineer was. They just put it down because it was a buzzword on an application. And I got hired in, and I was like, all right, what do you want me to do? And they're like, I don't know, just find stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's
do that DevOps.
That is literally, just so you know, that was a 6-figure salary job where for a year and a half, they had no idea what they wanted me to do.
It's pretty awesome.
It was great, but it was also miserable. And I honestly,
how much of that's going on in games?
It is. It 100% is. What I have found from people I've spoken to in the industry and people I've, just what I've seen in my own industry, they are entirely different, but also the same in that our industry is typically far, far ahead of them. But if I'm seeing it, I know it exists over there too. 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't work on the software side. I work predominantly in hardware. But, what we see from a project level is everybody under a certain job title level is just doing what they're told.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all working hard and just trying to make things happen. But these decisions at the project and program level where you pivot hard from one thing to another, they ruin morale and they set back progress. And, how many times have we, just in the 6 or 7 months we've been doing this, we've talked about games that, the whole structure of it changed 3 times during development.
Yeah.
With Dragon Age, specifically, we went into that whole deal where it was basically 3 different games across 7 years.
Yeah, it's trend chasing. Like most of the time.
There's no way to make a good game.
Yeah, most of the time it is people just trying to make things work the best they can. And you always hear the adage of a good game is just held up by duct tape and well wishes kind of thing. And I honestly think it's true more often than not that like sometimes, a lot of the times probably, a good game just kind of happens and they don't know how it happened. Like Bad Company 2, to hearken to Battlefield, like people want Bad Company 2 all over again. That's all people want. From my understanding, they don't know how to make that game again. They don't know what they did. They're terrified of putting the Bad Company name on something that they can't make again and just ruining it. Because the expectations for Bad Company are so incredibly high, they would never meet it.
It makes total sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, and it's the same with like Final Fantasy VII. They're like, we can't remake that game. We don't know how we did it. Like it just, everything came together well and it just all worked well. The stars aligned. Chrono Trigger, another, like basically all your major top 10 games that
BioShock
that they have been, that people have been chasing that dragon ever since it released. Like they just magic in a bottle. And
it's shocking how many games supposedly come down to the last 6 months.
Yeah.
When they finally just come together.
Yeah.
All right, so let's end this thing with just one final question.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So the actual CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella,
Yep.
if for some reason he listened to this last part of our conversation where we just absolutely made fun of Microsoft's entire management chain,
Mm-hmm.
for 30 minutes, does he look at the portfolio and say, those two goobers don't know what they're talking about? Or does he think, maybe we should be making more money? Maybe we should release big installments of all these franchises we own. Or does he not even care because Microsoft gaming is such a small part of their business?
It honestly, it feels like it's the latter. It feels like it's 10%, just 10% of like a corporate megalith. I just don't see them really caring. If
No, I mean,
anything,
I agree 100%.
if anything, it feels like the gaming division is literally just a battery to help support everything else. Because otherwise, I think it would be the opposite where, their corporate side is a battery to support gaming, but that's obviously not where their focus is. Like, very famously, they initially wanted everything to be about Windows. Like, they were all focused on getting Windows into your home. They wanted Windows on your TV. They wanted Windows everywhere because that's where all of their money is, right? The only reason why they even made the Xbox is because Sony jumped the gun and started taking so much market share. They were like, we have to intercede. We have to do something because Sony's going to come in and take over the living room, and we can't have that happen. That's going to ruin our entire plan. And that's how we got the Xbox, famously named after DirectX, which is Windows only, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this whole ploy has been a long con for them to try to get that to happen, to take over, and then pivot back to having Windows on everything.
And now they figured out that they don't even need the box to do that.
Yes. Good.
Right.
I mean, that's where it's going back to, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's the big epiphany in the last 10 years from them.
Yeah.
We don't actually even need the box.
Yeah. So I honestly, I think this has just been business as usual for them. And while it looks like crap for us and it feels bad and the devs are terrible. And again, I don't have insider information on this. This is just me like kind of off the cuff trying to figure out what's going on. It feels like that's the direction they're taking it. And if you look at where it started and how it started and where it's going, it feels like they had a plan. The timeline got split because some unexpected things happened. They did what they could with what they considered a bad situation, and now they're trying to wrangle it back into their original plan. And I don't think that original plan really has anything to really help with like hardcore gamers or people that like are primary gamers. I don't really want to say hardcore because that's fairly negative connotations there sometimes, but you know what I mean? Like passionate gamers, people that really want to have those AAA titles, people that love Halo, people that love Gears. I don't think they care about that. I think at least the way they've been running the business doesn't feel like they care about that. It feels like they just want to be everywhere and just get like width rather than depth.
No, I 100% agree. So one thing I saw while I was doing research for this episode was that just the productivity and business process department at Microsoft, which owns Office, LinkedIn, and then their Dynamics backend systems, makes the company $76 billion a year.
I believe that.
Gaming does 22.
Yep.
So, gaming is not even as big as Microsoft Office.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the ultimate thing. They don't care about games. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's a nice little side project that they keep running.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to slowly wither into nothing, and they will publish games on PlayStation, and they'll be just like what Activision Blizzard was.
Yeah, I honestly foresee them doing the Windows Everywhere thing and try to put Game Pass on everything, and it be its own little side battery for them. As long as it's
an app.
Yep. As long as it's self-sustaining, they don't care. I mean, look at the other decisions they've made, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're 100% right. So, I mean, that's really all I've got for this month. So, thanks for playing the game. You are definitely smarter than a CEO.
I appreciate it,
So,
Todd. Thank you.
I would hire you for sure.
Oh, good. I don't think I want to be. Honestly, that's way too much work.
Even though you don't like microtransactions, which I find disgusting. But,
Oh,
whatever.
look, on mobile, sure, microtransactions all day.
Oh, well, you're a genius again.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
we're good.
Look, let's keep microtransactions on mobile where people are more willing to spend like $1 every 5 seconds, and we're good.
Dude, I love it. Just milk those whales over there and keep it out of my games.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me today, Todd. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun going through these topics. I can't wait for you to finish Clear Obscure, and let's have that big, long conversation about that because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it next month.
All right. Sounds good. All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, everyone. We appreciate you guys for being here, and hope you enjoyed our conversation. We'll be back next month with another one. Bye.